Hello, got a new tent, haven't I? And it's me Mountain Star, but I've got it in a different colour. KUIU had a sale on, or have a sale on, so I'm now the proud owner of 2 Mountain Stars. This one is in the stealth colour, so I can stealthy camp in Northumberland rather than have me glorious orange and black KUIU, which you apparently can see from the top hill over there. That last time I camped here. Right, that is not the original bag, shall I say. That is the bag I pop them into, so you can see how small that goes down to. I weighed the tent at home, yeah? Just the tent and just the poles, no bags. It came in at 1342 grams. That is impressive. I'm going to do a little pitching video for you, because I can do that now. We'll have a look at it. Oh, it's full of newness. Oh, it's full of newness. And look at that beautiful colour. So, you guys know me. You know I've been using the KUIU tents for about 2.5 years now. I've got a lot of respect and trust in this brand. I've had these tents out in all weathers, all over as well. This is an ultralight tent. It's a 2-person tent. It's a fabulous bit of kit. It is my favourite tent now. There's a specific way to pitch it, as with all KUIU tents. There is a specific way. It will tell you to pitch it head end windward. The head end is slightly fatter than the toe end. So head end windward. Oh, I've been really I'm really excited for the pictures. I've had it in the house about a week. Nice to do a pitching video though, isn't it? See somebody else put it up. So it works on 3 poles. It is a crossed over trusses, goes through pole sleeves, and then there's a cross pole that goes across. Gives it a bit of stability and higher walls. I opted for the aluminium poles, which are 8.73mm. DAC NSL aluminium. If you can get the option with a carbon fibre pole, that is a Eastern 6.3 carbon fibre. The tent body is a 15D, so is the floor with a 1200 HH, which is what MSR use, and it's quite acceptable for this country. As I say, it's a beautiful tent. 3+ season. I've had mine out in below 0 several times. I've had it out in torrential rain. I've had it out in what I reckoned, or what the Met said, were 35 to 40 gusts. Once you stake your 4 corners out. I've pitched here before. I had no intentions of pitching here tonight. But, you know, I've got a poorly foot. Have you? Never mentioned it. I got a broken bone on the top of my foot, so I didn't want to go too far. I'd planned on being on that top ridge. No, I didn't want to push that. Right, so that is the 4 corners pegged out. And then I go on colour coding. It's an American tent. What do you reckon the colours are? Red, white and blue. So red first, white second. And gently, it's 15D, silicone, PU coated micro ripstop nylon. But you can still put a hole in it, just means that the hole won't run if you did. Fully taped seams. Right, so that's the red pole in, or the white pole in. Before we do anything else, we'll put the blue pole through. And this is how KUIU recommend pitching the tent. Who am I to argue? Quite liking doing these little tent pitching videos. But yeah, I've had to sell some... Oh, crikey. I've had to sell some stuff to pay for this. If you want to know the price, £418 delivered. Right, that's what they say to do. So 418 delivered, yes, that's expensive. It's a technical piece of kit. You can pay, oh, right, so yep, 418 delivered. Delivery takes about a week. KUIU takes charge of all of the customs charges. So what they quote you, that's all you'll pay. There's no nasty surprises from the tax mark, the customs people, which is brilliant. Oh. Last pull, you just want to pick it up, pick the tent up, thread it through gently. There you go. That is it, tuck shape. I use my own pegs, that's why in my head I've got my trail weight of the tent is 1.4 because I carry my own pegs all the time in my bag. Little tiny line locks on them, got about 8 inches on there. Quite stony this ground. Northumberland though, was full of hill forts back in the day. So that is her up. There we go, kickstand vents, accessible from the inside and the outside, which is a nice touch. That's just something about pitching the tent, isn't it? It's just really, really relaxing and therapeutic. Yep. Don't put on your little bugger. These occasionally can be a little bit fiddly, but it's really stony here. So that's our rope. She's a solid little beast. Oh, she's lovely. She's lovely. What else am I going to tell you about her? Well, it's the thing of beauty. How well does that blend into the Northumbrian countryside? Oh wow! Now I've lost my train of thought, haven't I? Stunner of a tent, absolute stunner of a tent. You were looking at 96 centimetres, 96.5 centimetres internal head height on it. It is 215 length, which is a little bit better than the MSR. You're looking at 140 width at the head end, tapers down to about a 114 at the tail end. So it's built for 2 people to sleep shoulder to shoulder, not top to toe. Good size bules on them. It's a KUIU, it's a hunting brand in America. So these tents are taken to some really remote and harsh climbs by hunters. So obviously a hunter will need to have the space for his big backpack and his weapon. So 2 really good size vestibules. It's just a lush tent. I am super chuffed with it. So that is the pitching of the KUIU Mountain Star, weighing in, let's just say, an impressive 1.4 kilograms. Look at the size of that bad boy. Right, we're going to have a little look inside. Tell you what, that is a stealthy, good-looking beast, isn't it? That is really, really stealthy. Wow. That is the answer. That is my answer to a stealthy tent for Northumberland. Dear me, is it? Right, let's have a little look inside. For those of you that haven't, I mean, I've done a previous review and pitching. Well, I don't think I did the pitching video, but I've did a previous review of the Mountain Star. Crikey, look at that. It's almost invisible. It doesn't make for very good photos, does it? Spot the tent. Right, so, Christ. I've already done a review of when I first got the Mountain Star. You know, not when I first got it, after I'd had a good half a dozen camps. I'm probably I'm probably the person in the country that's used KUIU tents the most. Certainly I've had up to, hitting on 30 camps in a Mountain Star now. Totally different tent to the Storm Star. The Storm Star is an absolute 4-season beast. I don't expect the same. This is a lighter weight. Feels lighter weight, obviously. It's half the weight. It's invisible. Let's have a look. Wow. Right, and I will tell you there's a couple of things I don't like, and I will always tell you that. So you've got Storm Flap, it's not the widest, and it could really benefit from having an extra bit of Velcro there and an extra bit of Velcro here, because if the wind hits that wrong, sometimes that will vibrate. So unless you add your own little bit of Velcro, or what I found, I'll just say there's two-way zips on the inner and outer. Everyone loves two-way zips. What I found is, all I do is pop that down a bit, which I would anyway for ventilation. Stick a clothes peg on there, stops it. It's easy as that. Right, so two-way zips, as I just said. And clips at the bottom, So if it gets really stormy, your tent won't come undone, plus you can have full venting, but the tent door's still held together. So we do like little clips. The same little clips, which are quite fiddly, hold the inner to the fly. See how fiddly they are? There you go. So they hold the inner to the fly. And the only other thing I'm not over keen on are the small door tie backs. I'll just thread that through here for the time being, just to get it out of the way. Right. That is the inner. It is a mesh inner, full mesh inner. It's a 15D mesh nylon. Like I said before, the inner zips. 2 zips, come down like that, which I quite like. And in we go. So that's us in. You've got the pocket in each corner. Nice pockets. That's what you want. Zippered access to the vent outside. Great if the weather turns chebs up. Ooh, it's a beautiful colour, mind, isn't it? Wow, I'm in love. So you've got your 4 pockets in the corner, your 2 zippered access to your outside vents. On the ceiling, you've got your gear line, comes as standard. You've got the glow-in-the-dark, which I love. You've got the glow-in-the-dark ram's head, as we say in Newcastle. You can buy a gear loft for it if you so wish. You can also buy a footprint for it as well. I had to sell that much stuff, I could just afford the basic tent. So that's it. Now the other thing, if the wind blows, changes direction, these doors will blow in. They will on any tent that hasn't got a fully geodesic pole structure. KUIU have put a reinforced piece under here, for to brace a walking pole, a hiking pole, and that makes this an absolute solid structure. Every time I've used this and the wind's picked up, I'll just bob me 2 hiking poles in there. What am I, 5'8"? It's probably nipping on. The lowest height I would have in a tent would be 95 centimetres, so this is 96.5. It's fine. You really have got space for, 2 people if you wanted. Me on my side, and then whoever would be brave enough to come camping with us on that side. And what else was I going to tell you? So the brace it with the hiking poles are very important. So if you don't come out camping with hiking poles and you are tented out in sketchy weather, bear that in mind. Any tent that hasn't got the fully geodesic 3 poles over or whatever or more, the doors will bend in if the wind changes and hits the doors full on. It's just the way tents are. It's got no, it needs braced. So yeah, I always come out with hiking poles, not a problem for me. Right, so that's your mountain star really. That's it. It's just one hell of a tent, and I'm looking forward to getting some blinking use out of this. But I tell you what, it's gonna look rubbish on photos, isn't it? It's blinking invisible. Right, Dave ES reporting from inside the mountain star. We'll get out, take some beauty shots. I think that was everything, wasn't it? The three things I didn't really necessarily like was the door flap, the small fiddly clips that holds the tent on. That was it, wasn't it? If I can think of anything else, I'll come back. But 100% highly recommended. As I say, you've got a 15D mesh nylon, but you can see this bit here, and that is if you get condensation on the tent, that means it won't drop through the nylon and hit you on the head. Same as in the back there you've got a more solid material covering the vent again. If there was any type of splatter from rain changing direction, biblical rain, whatever, it wouldn't get through. The bathtub, it's probably what, 8 inches? 8-inch high bathtub. Again, that does me. You lie down, it's going to keep any draft off your face. I'll be honest, it's a really fine mesh that they use. And I've been out in this tent, I've owned it for a year. I'm very experienced with it. I know it, I understand it, I know its capabilities. It's a warm tent, even though it's got all this mesh, it's a really warm tent. It doesn't seem to get any draft through. And I've been out sub-zero with it. Torrential rain, like I said before, high winds. It's a flipping great tent, highly recommended. Right, last piece from in here, that is me with my gear in. That is a 4-season, you can see, it's a Sea to Summit XT Ethelite Extreme, and it's a down bag on top. That is the space for another person. I'll tell you what, it's absolutely perfect for one. A little bit of condensation on the inside of the tent there. The wind changed direction. The doors did bow in and touch the mesh a little bit. You can see a little bit of beading there on the mesh. Nothing that came through. That's just camping. It happens in every tent. My stick knocked down overnight. I must have rolled into that and knocked that down. In a perfect world, I would have got out, I would have retensioned the guy there. As you can see, that's a little bit loose. And condensation is just something we're always going to battle. There's no tent that is going to be 100% condensation free. It all depends on conditions and where you pitch. For me, I've pitched on wet grass after it had been absolutely biblical. Not last night, but the night before. I've got a bit of sun today. Got me doors nice and gaping, nice bit of air through. There was no condensation whatsoever on this side. That is the side that the sun rose on. So just the dark side. We'll give the tent a wipe off and that is it. But me, I will always be honest about tents. There you go, there's your little condensation review. Right guys, a quickie about bracing your doors and when the wind changes and when it hits a lightweight shelter is thus. That side, I've took the brace out because that side's not affected. And I'm packing up. I just thought I'd do this bit of video before I packed up. So that's that side. And remember, this is a 15 mile an hour, 10 to 15 mile an hour gusts hitting the tent. You'll be going, oh dear me, it's collapsing. Well, it's not. That's just what happens. Yeah, it doesn't look very good. Does it? It's bending right in there. So if you don't come hiking, camping with hiking poles, that is something to think about. it's a big tent, it's a lightweight material. If you get a 10 to 15 mile an hour gusts hitting off it, it's going to do that. And it's not just this tent that does that. It's most other twice, it's all other tents that don't have that full, the full pull down the seam there. I mean, you've seen me storm store not flicker because, well, it can't with the design of it. So this, that is what it looks like when the wind changes direction and smacks it straight in the face. So right, we're going bracing, and I'll show you it braced and what a difference. Just something to remember if you go camping and you want one of these tents or a tent similar design and you don't take hiking poles. Right, get a little educational video here this morning, aren't you? Wow, what a lovely setting. Gotta stop saying that, but it is. Right, let's have a look at how with the door braced. Like a different tent. So that's a door braced, I've retensioned, and that is her taking a good old stiff breeze of up to 15 miles an hour straight in the face. And for a 1.4 kilogram lightweight tent of that size, I think that's quite acceptable. But if you came out without hiking poles and did the same as this, you saw what happened before. The doors do bow in, it would on any tent. Wow, look at her. Thing of absolute beauty. Right, that is it. That is definitely the end of the tent review. Make your own minds up. That is my second one. It's a tent I know I love. I know its limitations. Well, it's met none yet. At the minute, for me, it's limitless. Obviously, I wouldn't take it out in heavy snowfall or blah-de-blah, but 3+ season, happy days. Wow. Well worth the 420. I remember seeing that on my first video where I paid. How are you then, Gunnar? What did you pay for your first one last year? The pound against the dollar wasn't good. It was 586 for a tent, yeah? 586. Again, I'd sold a couple of things, and I said on the video, I said, well, I didn't think it was worth that price. I said if I got one for about 400, 420, I'd be a happy donor. Look what's happened, 418, and I am a happy girl. That's a lovely looking tent.